Honestly, I thought losing 100 pounds was going to take over a year. That was the expectation that I went into this journey with. The reality, so much different. Let's get into it. For those just catching up, at the beginning of 2025, I weighed over 450 pounds. As of today, December 5th, 2025, I weigh 298 pounds. Now, this has got me thinking. I would be lying if I were to tell you that I expected this, because I didn't. I thought it was going to be a struggle just to get to 350. And then when I got there, I did that was too easy. It wasn't easy, but it was easier than I thought it was going to be. So my expectation had kind of shifted to, I'll never see 325. And here I am, 298. A number on the scale that I have not seen in over 20 years. The reality of where I stand right now is all my expectations were wrong. I guess in a small way, because of how broken I am, I expected to fail. I expected to falter. But I didn't. I kept going. I've been very open about this in other videos. I've been at a weight loss plateau. In fact, I did a whole video about how when you're in a plateau, that's actually a sign that you're doing everything right. And I put that video out. I meant every word that I said in it. I researched that video for like a week just to make sure I wasn't talking out of my rear end. And the reality is, I was right. But in that moment, in the moment that I was in that extended plateau, the expectation was, you failed. In fact, I did a video about why I feel like I'm failing my diet, why I feel like I'm failing. So the reality is I'm not failing. Everything that I said in that video about weight plateaus was absolutely right, or at least my experience is proved that everything that I said in that video was absolutely right. And I was on the right track, and I was going to do it. I was going to break through. It was just a matter of time. I said this in my last video. Weight loss is a science. Fat loss is an art. I mean it. This changes my expectations yet again. I don't know if I'm going to re-enter another plateau. Time will tell. With the amount of stress that I'm taking at work, probably. Stress, sleep problems, they cause hormone problems, cortisol. I've talked about this all before, so I don't know, maybe I'm in store for another plateau. But I can stand here and say now, again, looking back, looking at the journey thus far, the reality has been so very different from the expectation. It probably doesn't come off on this video, but I am extremely excited. I'm even more determined. And maybe this is the sleep deprivation talking, because I haven't slept in over 24 hours. For the first time in a long time, I'm proud of me. That's a messed up thing to say, right? But it's the truth. I'm proud of me. That's not the messed up part. The messed up part is for the first time in a long time. Again, I did not think that I would did not think that I would be at this place right here, right now. Nowhere near it. And here I am. I'm not done. I still have work to do. You can see it. I can see it. I want to tell you one more reality, and I've said this before. I've said it in other videos. And I think I do this because I want to remind myself. I never, ever want to go back to that again. I was miserable. I was in pain all the time. I hated myself. I hated my life. I'm never going back to that. On that note, going from 450 pounds, a minimum of 450 pounds, to 298 pounds is yet again reshaping my expectations, because again, the reality was so much different than the expectation that I had set for myself. Now, that's pretty much what I wanted to say in this video. I do also want to point out, so I took the screenshot of my app that connects to my body fat scale. But I want to tell you how this morning kind of unfolded. I hopped on the scale, 298. And I said, well, maybe it needs to be recalibrated. So I, stepped off and 0. Step back on, 298. And I was like, well, no. Something's got to be wrong here. So I picked up the scale, took the battery out, set it down, went for a 5-minute walk, came back in, popped the battery back in, set it down, 298. I have another scale in this house. It's not a body fat scale. It is an older pedestal type, mechanical scale, and I hopped on it because it's generally within a pound or two, typically, of this body fat scale, and it was 298. Accomplishment's not the right word. I didn't feel an accomplishment. I felt my reality shattering. In a good way. I think because I set, sometimes the way that I set myself up, my expectations, again, it's that broken part of me, hence the name of the channel. I think sometimes I kind of get it in my head that I'm less than, and I set my targets low. So here's kind of where I'm at. I've decided that my next evaluation point is going to be 250 pounds. That's when I need to sit down and I need to really evaluate what exactly my goals are. I mean, look, I have goals now, but sometimes goals can change and sometimes you have to redefine them. So 250 pounds, I get down to there. That's going to be an evaluation point for me. A lot of things are going to come out of that because, like, look, 250 pounds, weight isn't created equal. I could be a lot less fat and have a lot of muscle and be 250 pounds. I could have a little bit of muscle and a little bit of fat and still be 250 pounds. So I basically I'm saying this because, like, look, I look at what I've accomplished this year, and I know the last 10% is 90% of the work, but I also know that while it's not easy, I don't ever want to. There's two things I don't want to ever do. I don't want to come across as some influencers do, where they claim it's easy. It's not. But it's not impossible, and it's not as hard as I thought it was going to be. So I'm now looking at the next expectation of myself that I should set. So maybe 4 months, 50 pounds in 4 months, maybe that's very achievable. Maybe I'm still shooting low. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I've talked enough. At the end of the day, I want to thank everybody that watches. I hope you get something out of this. And again, I cannot say this enough. If you're thinking about getting on a weight loss journey of your own, stop thinking, start doing. Don't worry about, how you're going to look at the gym. Don't worry about what other people are going to think. I said this a while ago. I will continue to say it. If I truly cared what other people thought, I would have never allowed myself to get like that. So on that, again, I'm going to get out. I want to thank everybody, and I hope to see you in the next one.